Good morning, fathers of daughters. This is F&B Martin. Welcome to another live stream, Girl Dad YouTube channel. How you doing today, fathers? All fathers are welcome, regardless of your ethnic group, background, or your culture. Welcome, fathers. We are here today, fathers, with another live stream. And what I'd like to discuss today, fathers, is what is a probation officer? And some of you fathers may be like, why do I need to know what a probation officer is? Well, most of you probably will not ever need to know what a probation officer is, but some of you will. And the reason I want to discuss probation officers today and what exactly is a probation officer and share videos with you regarding the education to become a probation officer and what their duties are and things of that nature is because some of you will definitely have your daughters get into trouble and end up in the criminal justice system. And I think it's important that I provide fathers with information to help them understand or help them be aware of what is coming to them in the family if they have a daughter or a son that ends up on juvenile probation. So I am a former state of Colorado juvenile probation officer. I worked in the criminal justice system for 20 years. I began my criminal justice career in 1984 when I went into the United States Marine Corps. And I ended my career in the criminal justice system in 2003. And then I went into K-12 education from 2003 to 2014. So I have a very extensive background in the criminal justice system. I've been a certified paralegal for over 40 years, since 1984. I was a paralegal in the United States Marine Corps. That was my official MOS, military occupational specialty. And I've worked with all kids and all families from all socioeconomic backgrounds. So very, very thorough when it comes to the criminal justice system. I did get accepted to law school back, I want to say 1999, 2000, somewhere around there. And I just never went. I did get accepted, but I never ended up going because my daughters were little and, things changed. But I felt blessed enough to be able to get accepted to law school. I just never went. So I want to share, fathers, with you because at Girl Dad YouTube channel, what I provide to fathers of daughters is educational and informational resources to help fathers make informed decisions for their daughters, to provide you with simplicity, to help you understand our sense of urgency regarding our daughters. Okay. My book, Daddy's Girls, it's in the right-hand corner, I believe is a blueprint for fathers of daughters, helping them understand our sense of urgency. So like I said, fathers, I'm going to share a few videos today, about 6 or 7. They're short. And the last video I'm going to share is about a 20-minute video. But the videos before that are short videos. And fathers, this is not a live stream to scare you or get you thinking another way. But I just believe in sharing my professional experience as well as my experience with raising 4 adult daughters. So that's what Girl Dad YouTube channel is all about, sharing information, making sure fathers are informed. And I bring together the criminal justice system, K-12 education, and my experience of raising 4 adult daughters. And I bring them together. And that's the perspective I come from. That's what I share with fathers. And that's what I'm good at. Um, this is to me, this is the what I'm doing with Grow That YouTube channel is I am this is my way of giving back to fathers, being at a totally different transition in my life. I am 58 years of age. All my daughters are adults. They're grown. They're out on their own in their professional careers. They're amazing women. God bless them. I love them. And this is just something that's on my heart that I feel that I need to help fathers navigate this journey of raising baby girls, because so many fathers are struggling with their baby girls and they just don't know what to do with them. So this is my 39th live stream. Feeling great about it. I started live streaming July of 2023 to the current day, which is today. And I have 39 live streams. So I feel great about it, fathers. And I'm getting better, building capacity organically on my YouTube channel. And like I said, fathers, I'm a resource, and I just want to share resources with you. So with that being said, fathers, I have some videos that I want to share with you, and I'll be doing commentating after each video, giving you a little bit more perspective on exactly what is a probation officer, what are the duties of a probation officer, what are the educational levels of probation officers. And it's pretty extensive. If your child ever ends up on juvenile probation, you're getting the best of the best when it comes to juvenile probation officers, because in order to become a probation officer, it's very, very extensive. There is a application process. There is a panel interview process. There is a written test to become a probation officer. So it's a pretty lengthy process. Back in the day when I became a probation officer, I interviewed, I was the state of Colorado juvenile probation officer. I was with the 1st Judicial District in Jefferson County, Colorado. So back in the day in 1993, I remember when I went through the process, I started the interview process in September of 1993, actually got hired in December of 1993 and became a probation officer in 1994. I'll explain to you my educational background. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and economics. And I made sure when I was pursuing my career in the criminal justice system, because I always had law school as an alternative, possibly becoming an attorney and going and representing kids as well. So love the law. Like I said, I've been a paralegal for 40 years. I just love everything about the law because it's challenging, and analytically, it makes you think a lot deeper. And it's just, the law is very, very challenging. So I'm glad that I've been blessed to participate in the criminal justice system for the 20 years that I did. I'll always be a paralegal. I'll always work with children. That's just what I do. So with that being said, fathers, let's jump into these videos that I want to share with you today regarding what is a probation officer and the duties and what to expect if your daughter or son ends up on juvenile probation. Okay, fathers, this is the first video.
Welcome to County Office, your ultimate guide to local government services and public records. Let's get started.
What is a probation officer? Probation officers are the unsung heroes of the criminal justice system. They're like the personal trainers of rehabilitation, helping offenders to get back on track and live law-abiding lives. They have a wide range of duties, including monitoring offenders, ensuring they comply with court-ordered conditions, and providing resources to help them reintegrate into society. They can be found in local, state, and federal probation departments, supporting both adults and juveniles through their probation periods. probation officers also have an important role in the court process. They conduct pre-sentence investigations and provide detailed reports to judges to assist in sentencing decisions. But it's not just about enforcement. Probation officers also act as social workers, counselors, and mentors. They provide support, guidance, and resources to help offenders address underlying issues such as substance abuse, mental health, or unemployment. So next time you hear about probation officers, remember, they're not just officers of the law, but officers of change, helping people turn their lives around. Moving on to probation departments. These are government agencies responsible for supervising offenders who have been placed on probation. They work closely with courts, law enforcement, and community organizations to ensure public safety and aid offender rehabilitation. In essence, the probation department is like the operational hub of a wheel, coordinating various spokes to ensure the smooth transition of offenders back into society.
To learn more, check out these links, which you can click in the description below. And feel free to comment your questions. We're here to help. Thanks for tuning into our video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.
Okay, fathers. There you go. What is a probation officer? It's a great video. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. With today's technology and YouTube, social media platforms, specifically YouTube, there's a tutorial for everything. And I am grateful to YouTube for being able to use their platform for free, for one. And if you can't find it on YouTube, it doesn't exist. So I appreciate the videos that I use. They're all fair use videos, which means that anyone can have access to them. I don't do reaction videos to other people's videos. What I do is I provide educational and informational resources. So as you can see, Father, becoming a probation officer it's pretty extensive. And the process is challenging. Let me tell you, it's something that very rewarding. I enjoyed being a probation officer and just love working with kids. I had worked with adults at one point, but I had no desire to ever work with adults. Children are way easier to get compliant. Children are way easier to build relationships for. Children are way easier to advocate for. And I love that part of it. The advocacy part of it was good. Probation officer, juvenile probation officers, we have a very unique skill set because not everybody can work with children. Trust me. A lot of adults don't like kids. So I know through the state of Colorado, when you become a probation officer, at least back in 1993, when I was going through the process. Oh, let me let you know. What I found out, I graduated from college in May of 1993. And when I began my path, I knew I was going to become a probation officer because I had already been volunteering while I was in college for 2 years. So I started volunteering in the probation department in 1991 at the county level, city level, county level. And they were just misdemeanor cases and petty offense cases. So got exposed to some felony cases every once in a while at the adult level, but most of my cases were juvenile cases. And so learned a lot in college and I found my niche. So when I started the process to become a probation officer, it was interesting because back then, for every probation officer position that was opening up in the state of Colorado, they were receiving between 300 and 500 applications for every position. So it was quite competitive. And I made sure that I stacked my resume. One of the things the Marine Corps taught me was how to make sure when you're building your resume, you're your best advocate for yourself. You can tell your story. Don't let anyone else tell your story. You're your best marketer. You're your best storyteller. I learned that in the Marine Corps. So I made sure when I started college in 1989, because I graduated in 1993, I made sure that when I was building my resume, it made sense. And it was continuous from semester to semester through the summer. So when I started, like I said, doing the volunteer work, I made sure that I volunteered year round while I was in school. And it was making my resume look great because it was on-hands experience. It wasn't a situation where I didn't have any experience. So I had a hand up, and having a bachelor's degree in criminal justice makes a difference because most probation departments, at least the county I was in, Jefferson County, most of the juvenile probation officers had degrees in criminal justice. And you can get a degree in pretty much anything. This next video I'm getting ready to show you is the educational requirements for becoming a juvenile probation officer or a probation officer, period. So, but just want to share that first video. And let me get the second video ready, fathers.
Path that involves guiding young.
Okay. Okay, fathers, here is the second video for juvenile probation officers.
Welcome to County Office, your ultimate guide to local government services and public records. Let's get started.
What education is needed to become a juvenile probation officer? A career in juvenile probation is a noble path that involves guiding young people towards rehabilitation and away from a life of crime. But before you can step into this role, there are some prerequisites you need to fulfill. Firstly, a bachelor's degree in a relevant field is a must. Degrees in criminal justice, psychology, social work, or sociology are commonly pursued by those interested in this career. These courses provide a solid foundation in understanding human behavior, societal issues, and the criminal justice system. Once you've got your degree, you're not quite done with your educational journey. Some states require prospective juvenile probation officers to have a master's degree or at least some graduate coursework. Advanced studies in criminal justice or a related field can offer deeper insights into the complexities of working with juveniles in the justice system. Beyond formal education, specialized training is also vital. Many states provide training programs for new probation officers, covering topics like case management, juvenile law, and counseling techniques. And don't forget about certification. In many states, juvenile probation officers are required to become certified, which often includes passing an exam. Now that you're equipped with the knowledge about the education needed to become a juvenile probation officer, it's time to take the first step towards this rewarding career.
To learn more, check out these links, which you can click in the description below. And feel free to comment your questions. We're here to help. Thanks for tuning into our video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.
Okay, fathers, another great video. And when it comes to becoming a probation officer, especially with your background and needing to have a bachelor's degree. It's extensive. It really, really is. And it is competitive because so many people want to become probation officers for a number of reasons. Some have some use it as a springboard, like I said, to get professional experience and eventually go to law school. Like those, that was what the path that I was on. That's what I was going to do. And it's a very, very noble profession. And you learn a lot about kids because you're dealing with different agencies. Department of Human Services, you're dealing with the educational system, K-12, and everything in between. When a child is on probation, a child requires pretty much an entire team. If they're placed outside the home, in a group home, and detention centers, and so very extensive when you're a juvenile probation officer. Like I said, very rewarding though. And if you have children like I did, my girls are little, it's going to keep you mentally in a different lens because you're seeing kids come in and out of court every day, pretty much. And it's pretty difficult to remove yourself from having a personal relationship with every child that walks through the door, because you get what walks through the door. And some of these kids have they've had hard lives. Some of them have parents that have failed them. And so it gives you a different perspective. And I'm glad I decided to go the route that I went, because I was able to build my skill set, use everything I've learned, and apply it to my own daughters. Because the one thing we do not want, fathers, and I'm telling you this, we do not want our daughters involved in the criminal justice system, because the criminal justice system can't do anything but make our daughters worse. And I'm here to help fathers avoid any of that. 90 to 95% of the young girls that I got on probation in Jefferson County, Colorado, they were runaway little girls. They were between the ages of 10 and 17. They were all runaways. 95% of them. I had a few that didn't run away, but typically that's how most little girls end up on probation, because they're running away from home for whatever reasons, right? And there's another video that's going to talk about the duties of a probation officer. I have a video that's going to be talking about the pre-sentence investigation report that we have to present to the court as far as recommendations. Now, typically the way it works, if you get a child that gets in trouble and they have to come to the probation department, there's a juvenile probation officer intake officer that does all the pre-sentence investigation reports, takes all the information from the parents. And we'll go into that a little bit later. But when I had to do reports on juveniles, it was an amended report to the original report. If the court, if the judges, if the magistrates requested or required us to give an update. If we had a kid on probation for 6 months and they got a new case, they wanted a pre-sentence investigation report addendum to what was already written over what has been going on with that child for the last 6 months. In Jefferson County, state of Colorado, there's judges and then there's magistrates. The biggest difference between a judge and a magistrate is judges are appointed, magistrates are hired by judges, and they work directly under the judges. So a magistrate is a little bit different in the state of Colorado, and every state's going to be different, but we do have judges that sit on the bench, as well as magistrates that sit on the bench. Magistrates aren't appointed though, they're hired. So that's the biggest difference between a judge and a magistrate in the state of Colorado. Okay, fathers, I'm going to let me get this next video ready. Let's see. Okay. Okay, we did that one. I've got so many great videos. I try to keep them in chronological order, fathers, but sometimes it's not always possible, which is not a problem, but I try to do it that way so I can make it easier on myself when it comes to my live streams. And I appreciate YouTube though.
Welcome to County Office.
Okay, sorry, that's not the one I want. Here we go.
Office, your ultimate.
Okay. Give me one more second here, Father. I have to go back into let me go back into YouTube real quick. I want to look at something. Okay, that's on StreamYard. Give me 1 second, fathers. Sorry for the delay. But let's see. Okay, and then we get and that one. Okay. Let me see what this one is. Okay.
Office, your ultimate guide to.
Okay, fathers. This is the third video on what is a probation officer.
Welcome to County Office, your ultimate guide to local government services and public records. Let's get started.
What is a probation officer's job? Picture this, a balancing act between law enforcement and social work. That's right, we're talking about the job of a probation officer. These professionals play a critical role in the justice system, helping individuals who've been convicted of crimes, but are serving their sentences outside of jail or prison. Probation officers supervise these individuals, known as probationers, to ensure they comply with the conditions of their probation. This might involve drug testing, employment verification, and regular check-ins. They also provide resources to help probationers rehabilitate, such as counseling and job training. Now let's delve into probation departments. These departments are typically part of the county government and are responsible for overseeing the probation process. They manage probation officers, coordinate with courts, and provide resources for probationers. Probation departments are there to ensure that probationers are given the opportunity to reintegrate into society while still holding them accountable for their actions. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. So there you have it. Probation officers and departments are key players in our justice system, working tirelessly to balance punishment with rehabilitation.
To learn more, check out these links, which you can click in the description below. And feel free to comment your questions. We're here to help. Thanks for tuning into our video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.
Okay, fathers, another excellent video on what is a probation officer and the duties, what's a probation officer's job. Like I said, very challenging and very, very rewarding in the same breath. So when you're a juvenile probation officer, it's a learning curve, specifically for a lot of those who have never worked in the criminal justice system. and are getting involved in the criminal justice system for the first time as a professional. It requires a different level of thinking, different level of advocacy, and an open mind, because you will be advocating for children. And you have to make sure they're in compliance of their probation, which was court ordered. And you're going to be reporting in front of the court, in front of judges, in front of magistrates, district attorney, defense attorneys, Department of Social Services, aka Human Services, aka Child Protection Services. If you have children that are placed outside the home, in group homes, you'll be doing a lot of visits to the group home. You'll be doing home visits depending on what level of probation that your kid is on that you're supervising. So it's quite challenging. It really, really is. And like I said, was very rewarding for me, and was able to learn how to build relationships with all children from all socioeconomic backgrounds. So that I loved everything about it. I really, really did. And it made me a better person, made me a better human being. You become a lot more compassionate and empathetic when you're working with children, when you see how a lot of them get messed over in the criminal justice system, how you see a lot of their families get messed over in the criminal justice system, because it's not perfect. Trust me, it's far from being perfect. So this is why, fathers, you do not ever want your child to be on probation or involved in the criminal justice system. Because what ends up happening is, fathers, when your child gets on probation, the whole family is on probation. That's how it works. People would always ask me, Ephraim, what do you mean by that when you say the whole family's on probation? Well, you got to think about it, right? You have a kid on probation, you're going to be required to get them to and from their probation meetings. The probation officer will be checking up on their school, doing school visits. Depending on what level of probation they're on, they will be doing home visits, making sure that the child is safe. And I mean, we're 100% responsible for them. So it's challenging. It's definitely challenging. Let me tell you, I was a probation officer in Jefferson County on April 20th, 1999. That was the day of the Columbine massacre at Columbine High School. I was a probation officer. I had kids at Columbine High School. And that was a crazy day. By the grace of God, none of my children were murdered. None of my children were harmed. None of my children were killed. But there were a lot of kids that were murdered that day. And the two boys that were responsible for that came through Jefferson County, and they were put on what's called a program. It was called diversion. What I remember is these two young men have been breaking into vehicles and doing some other things, but they didn't have a criminal record. So they were placed on the diversion program instead of probation. So I don't know if being on probation, the massacre probably would not have happened. I don't know, because they were never put on probation. But April 20th, 1997 is permanently a memory in my mind, because I just remember Columbine massacre, Columbine High School in Jefferson County, Colorado, unfolding. I remember being in the employee cafeteria and just watching it go down. It was being broadcasted, and it was crazy. It was a crazy day. So that was probably one of the most challenging times. I think after that, that's when I decided, let me go ahead and leave the probation department and apply to law school. And like I said, I was looking at law school, and I also was looking at going into education. So I had some options. The good thing about getting a degree is it allows you options, a lot of other options to do other things. You're not stuck. The criminal justice system is very, very broad. And there's a lot of agencies that fall under the criminal justice system, under the umbrella of the criminal justice system. So you have a lot of options when you have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice or a master's degree or a Juris Doctorate, a JD. So it allows you flexibility. And I was blessed and able to use the flexibility along with my skill set. So I'm blessed. I'm really, really blessed. Okay, fathers, let's take a look at this next video. Let's see. Did I just do that one? Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, fathers. I'm trying to figure out if I just showed this video. Give me 1 second. No. Okay. Let me, okay. Here is the next video, fathers. Okay, let me get out of there.
Welcome to County Office, your ultimate guide to local government services and public records. Let's get started.
What are the duties of a juvenile probation officer? Ah, the world of juvenile probation. It's not all about stern looks and telling youngsters what they can and can't do. No, there's much more to it. Juvenile probation officers, or JPOs, have a host of responsibilities, all aimed at guiding young individuals towards a brighter path. The life of a JPO is a lively mix of social work, law enforcement, and counseling. They work with young offenders, usually between the ages of 10 and 18, who have been placed on probation by a juvenile court. One of their primary duties is to monitor these youths to ensure they comply with the terms of their probation. This often involves regular check-ins, either at the probation department, school, or even at home. But that's not all. JPOs also work closely with the offender's family, school, and community to create a supportive environment. They provide counseling, assist with educational and employment opportunities, and connect them with resources to address underlying issues such as substance abuse or mental health concerns. In a nutshell, juvenile probation officers play a crucial role in steering young lives away from crime and towards a more positive, productive future.
To learn more, check out these links, which you can click in the description below. And feel free to comment your questions. We're here to help. Thanks for tuning in to our video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.
Okay. Okay, fathers. Got a few more videos that I want to share with you. They're all short, which is good. Just giving you information. As you can see, these videos are right on point, straight to the point, letting you know what to expect if your child ever ends up on probation. I'm just elaborating more on what to expect. So, you know, the duties of a probation officer, we're busy, let me tell you. I remember, you have three different classifications of probationers. You have category 1, which is a probationer, which is the minimum of meeting them once a month. You have a category 2 where you have a medium probationer, which you meet twice a month. And then you have a high risk probationer, which you have to meet once a week. Typical caseload, when I was a probation officer, I supervised anywhere between 150 to 225 kids a month, depending. There were high months, there were low months, but I remember for every one child that I had get off probation, there were another 10 waiting. So very, very busy. And spend a lot of time in court, spend a lot of time, doing home visits, spend a lot of time doing school visits. You are in court quite extensively. So time management is everything when you become a probation officer. You learn that skill set. Trust me. It's an acquired skill set. It has helped me. I'd have to say, coming out of the Marine Corps and being as disciplined as I was, it wasn't really a hard transition. It was just becoming familiar. And like I said, I had already volunteered at the county level. I was a state juvenile probation officer. And then there's federal probation officers as well. And then you have parole officers, which is opposite of probation. They actually have been to prison and they're being monitored post-prison transition. So probation officers are a very critical piece of the criminal justice system. They are the eyes and the advocate voices when it comes to juveniles, because you wear a variety of hats. And it is quite overwhelming at times because you're dealing with so many kids. I can tell you the 90 to 95% of girls that I supervise, they all did drugs. So they were involved in substance abuse. And it was sad to see. It was crazy to be that young, 10, 11, 12, and to already be, hooked on drugs or experimenting with drugs and other things. So yes, it's an eye-opener. So we have to put in our work with our daughters, birth to 18 years of age fathers, so we make sure that this doesn't happen to them. Okay, let me get this next video ready. Let's see. Okay, fathers, I'm almost there. Let's see. Okay, this next video is what to expect if when a juvenile probation officer visits you at home, does a home visit with the parents of the juvenile. Okay, let me get this wide screen. Okay, here we go, fathers.
Welcome to County Office, your ultimate guide to local government services and public records. Let's get started.
What to expect when a probation officer visits your home. When a probation officer knocks on your door, it's not time to panic, but it's definitely time to tidy up. Probation departments are tasked with ensuring individuals who have been convicted of a crime are adhering to the terms of their probation. A probation officer's visit to your home is a standard part of this process. During the visit, the probation officer will check to ensure you're living in a safe and secure environment. They'll also want to ensure that you're not associating with other convicted criminals or partaking in illegal activities. The officer may ask to tour your home, checking for signs of drug use, illegal activity, or the presence of weapons, which are typically prohibited for individuals on probation. They may also interview you and other residents to gather additional information. The goal of these visits isn't to catch you out, but rather to help ensure you're on the right track, following the rules, and making positive changes in your life. Remember, your probation officer is there to help you successfully complete your probation period. So, when that knock comes, put on your best smile, offer a cup of coffee, and show them you're committed to turning over a new leaf.
To learn more, check out these links, which you can click in the description below. And feel free to comment your questions. We're here to help. Thanks for tuning into our video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.
Okay, fathers. That's what you can expect when a probation officer does a home visit. Now, do understand there's two different levels of probation officers. I was a juvenile probation officer, and then there's a specialized juvenile probation officer, which is called JISP. And JISP stands for Juvenile Intensive Supervision Probation. So that's for a higher risk kid. For instance, a child that has been placed on probation for a crime against persons, a crime against another juvenile, a crime against the elderly, a crime against a person. If there was a weapon involved, more than likely, they will get JISP, depending on their history. And so the pre-sentence investigation report that is written to the court, in which the judge, this comes after the child has already made the plea and is getting ready to be adjudicated. Kids are adjudicated, they're not convicted. Adjudication and convictions are two different things. An adjudication means that you can expunge your record when you get off of probation under the age of 18. That is the benefit of being on juvenile probation, is you can expunge your record. Now, you have to do it. You have to follow through with it, but juvenile records can be expunged. Adult records, felonies cannot. Certain felonies. So juvenile probation offers you an opportunity to get rehabilitated and offers you an opportunity to expunge your records, which is great, and it should be that way. Because what you don't want to happen is be in trouble as a juvenile and then it come back to hunt you and bite you in the butt when you get it together and you're an adult now and, you were on probation for stealing. It comes up when they do a background check. It could hurt you. So the home visits are very critical because a lot of kids, they'll come in and tell us what's going on at their house. And they'll tell us whether or not they're feeling safe or not. So we have an obligation statutorily, a duty to report. And there's a lot of responsibility because probation officers are audited. Our caseloads are audited once a year. So what happens is our supervisors take about 20 of our cases a year and go through them to make sure we're in compliance. And let me tell you, when Columbine went down on April 20th, 1999, I remember about 30 days after Columbine happened, they descended up on our probation department, our juvenile probation department, like nobody's business. And I want to say at the time there were maybe 15 juvenile probation officers, and they took our cases and went through them to make sure we were doing what we were supposed to do. So it was a very, very stressful time, I remember, and just agencies everywhere looking at our cases to make sure we were compliant. And we had a great juvenile probation department. So everybody was in compliance, but it was just, I remember, we met once a week to debrief our cases with each other and, spoke with our supervisor. And it was a crazy time. And I just remember it was stressful for most of us. It was very, very stressful because we felt we were in the crossfire, and you didn't know what to expect with these, our cases being reviewed because you weren't sure if you were going to be fired or it was just a crazy time at that time. But like I said, we had a great probation department, juvenile probation officers. So they were amazing. Okay. I'm not sure if I showed this next video. fathers, let me see. Let me pull this up. I'm not sure if I showed this one already. Okay, that one I did. Okay. The next one I'm going to show you is parents always have questions about whether or not juvenile probation officers can carry guns. And that depends on each state. State of Colorado juvenile probation officers, we're peace officers. We're law enforcement, you know, we fall under the law enforcement officer statutorily. So we're peace officer. But we don't carry weapons. We don't carry guns in the state of Colorado. Parole officers do, but probation officers don't. So depending on what state you live in, some do, some don't. So it's interesting. And once again, it depends on what state you live in, on whether or not juvenile probation officers carry a gun rather. So here's the next video, fathers. Let me see, hold on. This is the next one.
Probation officer.
Let me get it live. Okay, fathers, here we go. Let me see, let me make sure I'm there. Yes, we are. Okay.
Welcome to County Office, your ultimate guide to local government services and public records. Let's get started.
Do probation officers carry guns? When it comes to law enforcement, probation officers are a unique bunch. They work with individuals who are trying to integrate back into society. Their job is to ensure these folks stay on the straight and narrow. But do they pack heat while doing it? Probation departments have a diverse range of duties. They supervise offenders and provide rehabilitation resources. Their goal is to prevent future crimes and aid in community safety. But does this mission require firepower? In some jurisdictions, probation officers do carry guns. It's not a universal standard, though. It depends on local policies and the nature of their duties. In high-risk situations, a probation officer might be armed for safety. However, not all probation officers carry guns. In many cases, they focus on support rather than enforcement. They work closely with resources like counseling and job training. A gun isn't always part of their toolkit. For those who do carry, extensive training is mandatory. They learn firearms safety and crisis management. After all, wielding a weapon comes with great responsibility. In essence, the question isn't a simple yes or no. It's a reflection of the complex role probation officers play. They balance enforcement with support, guns or no guns. Curious about your local probation department's policies? You might find the answer on their website or by giving them a call. Each department operates with its own set of rules.
To learn more, check out these links, which you can click in the description below. And feel free to comment your questions. We're here to help. Thanks for tuning in to our video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.
Okay, fathers. So I want to share with you guys, when I was a probation officer, juvenile probation officer with the state of Colorado, the additional requirements to stay as a probation officer, it was mandatory to have 80 hours of additional probation officer training a year. Every year we had to go through hand-to-hand combat, and we also had to do weapons training. That was mandatory every year. And I remember the 80 hours. You got to think about that. 80 hours a year. You had one calendar year from January 1st until like the middle of December of every year to make sure you got those 80 hours done. If you did not get those 80 hours done in that period of time, because it's 100% on you, and you didn't meet the requirements, you were instantly put on probation. They gave you another 90 days to get it done. If you didn't get it done in those 90 days, you were fired. So the probation department ain't playing. It is not a profession that you can get into where you're going to slack off or think you're going to blow things off. It is not, that's not the profession to be in. So, like I said, the additional training, 80 hours, it was 80 hours a year, being here in the state of Colorado. So I'm positive it is in other jurisdictions and states throughout the United States. It's the same thing. And you should be required to have additional training because you could see it, you could become complacent and drop the ball with a lot of these kids. And you can't do that when you're working with juveniles. You have to meet these children where they're at. That's one of the most important things I learned early as a probation officer. You got to meet them where they're at, not where you want them to be. You got to meet them where they're at. Okay. Fathers, we have one more video. It's about 20 minutes long. I want to share with you. It's actually some of the questions that they ask on the test to become a probation officer. The reason I want to share this is I want you to see exactly how extensive it is. And it's not easy to become a probation officer. So I just want to share this last video with you to give you a further, better understanding of the professionalism you're dealing with when you're dealing with probation officers, okay? And the profession itself. It's a great profession.
To be
Let's see. So this is Probation Officer Exam Study Guide, and this was for 2023. I pulled this off of YouTube because it brought back so many memories when I was taking the exam to become a probation officer back in 1994. So it's still good to see that they're doing it.
is both the client's
The same way, because you're going to weed out those individuals who they're just not built to be a probation officer, and you have to weed them out. So it's extensive. Like I said, you get the best of the best when you become a juvenile probation officer. You get the best of the best in the probation departments. It's very extensive. Okay, fathers, this is the last video. Here we go, fathers.
To be most effective in assisting another individual, the caseworker must A. Have a wide knowledge of the individual's cultural background. B. Be aware
Let me
of
start that
personal
over.
feelings
I don't think
regarding the
I
client. C. Be free from prejudice of any kind.
Okay. Let me start that over, fathers. Sorry. I've got two different websites opened here. Okay, let's see. That's the one I want. Okay.
To be most effective in assisting another individual, the caseworker must A. Have a wide knowledge of the individual's cultural background. B. Be aware of personal feelings regarding the client. C. Be free from prejudice of any kind. Social control theory can best be described as A. Social constraints lead to a lack of following the rule of law. B. Social constraints, when weakened as it relates to antisocial behavior, may cause delinquent behavior. C. Social constraints are absent in the United States, except for antisocial behavior.
Oftentimes, probation parole branches will offer specialized services to produce a better service for specialized clients. Which of the below terms is the best example of one of these services? A. Specialized agencies. B. Specialized units. C. Specialized services outside the agency's jurisdiction. An indictment is best defined as A. Formal, usually written document alleging or charging one with an offense. B. Formal act of reprimand by the court system. C. Written document brought to the attention of the defense to help clear a parolee or probationer from the terms and/or conditions of their case. Which answer choice below best describes the probable number one reason that could be used to either validate or negate various programs relating to probations and parole? A. By using a ratio of cost per inmate. If the costs drop, the program is successful. B. Examining or measuring the recidivist rate. What level of education must you have to be a probation officer? A. Associate degree in chemistry. B. High school diploma. C. Master's degree in counseling. D. Bachelor's degree in a human services field. Individuals on probation have been convicted of A. Only felonies. B. Misdemeanors only. C. Misdemeanors and low-level felonies. D. Only those crimes punishable by imprisonment. What is included in a case plan? A. Short-term goals for the probation client. B. List of community involvement. C. Risk of continued drug or alcohol usage. D. All of the answers are correct. Which of the following is the least serious offense with the lowest level of punishment attached to it in the United States? A. Infraction. B. Misdemeanor. C. Felony. D. Appeal. Which of these is an example of a violation which could be punished with an infraction? A. Murder. B. Assault. C. Failing to wear a seatbelt. D. Breaking and entering. For an infraction, you have the right to A. A bench trial only. B. A bench or jury trial. C. A jury trial only. D. No trial. Which of the following is determined by the assessment of an official designated by a state or federal Department of Corrections? A. Rated capacity. B. Operational capacity. C. Design capacity. Which of the following refers to the security level that houses offenders that would be serving sentences of approximately 20 years or less? A. Minimum security institution. B. Medium security institution. C. Maximum security institution. Which of the following processes should be considered when designing and building a prison? A. Movement. B. Meals. C. Movement, meals, and recreation are processes that should be considered when building and designing a prison. many individuals use to deal with their problems, which can lead to more problems requiring counseling? A hobby. B, entertainment. C, alcohol. D, a talk with a friend. In motivational interviewing, who is responsible for changing the client's destructive behavior? A, the counselor is responsible. B, responsibility is both the client's and the counselor's. C, the client is responsible for changing his or her behavior. What is the main purpose of motivational interviewing? A, the main purpose is to resolve the client's conflicting feelings. B, there is no main purpose. C, asking open-ended questions is the main purpose. Maximum security prisons have amount of security measures in place. A, the least. B, medium. C, a low. D, the most. Which security level has double fences and the prisoners are allowed to attend treatment programs but are housed in their cells? A, maximum. B, minimum. C, medium. Security prisons allow inmates to work in work camps. A, maximum. B, medium. C, high. D, minimum. Is a current issue in correctional facilities? A, violence and abuse. B, healthcare. C, overcrowding. D, all of the answers are correct. Which of the following is an active prison reform group? A, Southern Center for Human Rights, SCHR. B, Cyberdyne Systems. C, the Center for Consumer Freedom, CCF. D, the Umbrella Corporation. In the American colonies, prisons were initially used. A, as a form of punishment. B, as shelters for the homeless. C, to hold people awaiting trial. D, as food storage facilities. The two types of probation are in conditions. A, required and unrequired. B, standard and special. C, incarcerated and free. D, monitored and unmonitored. A type of supervised release from jail is called A, felony. B, incarceration. C, conditions. D, probation. While on probation, an offender can be required to wear an ankle monitor that tracks and A, location and alcohol consumption. B, sleeping and awake times. C, driving or walking. D, sitting or standing. Prior to what year would someone have to manually request an absolute discharge to be removed? A, 1998. B, 1994. C, 1992. D, 1996. What can an absolute discharge affect if still on a record? A. It can affect jobs and travel abroad. B. It can affect renting an apartment or buying a home. C. It can affect whether you can be accepted into college. D. It can affect the purchase of a car. Which of the following does not represent a possible condition of probation? A. The offender will attend a drug rehabilitation program. B. The offender will provide a DNA sample. C. The offender will submit to drug testing. D. The offender will spend a minimum of 5 years in jail. Which of the following best describes supervised probation? A. The offender has to routinely meet with their probation officer and the offender must also adhere to specific rules. B. The offender does not have to meet with a probation officer at all. Which of the following devices would likely be utilized in community control probation? A. Handcuffs. B. Ankle monitors. C. Supervised visitations. D. Jail time. Which of the following devices would likely be utilized in community control probation? A. Handcuffs. B. Ankle monitors. C. Supervised visitations. D. Jail time. What is a juvenile's living situation if they're undergoing residential treatment? A. Juvenile remains in their home. B. The juvenile lives in a residential treatment facility. C. A probation officer drives the juvenile from his home to therapy every day. What happens to a juvenile if they're on probation? A. The juvenile is sent to prison. B. The juvenile is sent to prison until they turn 21. C. The juvenile has to live at a treatment facility. D. The juvenile is supervised while remaining in their community. Why is community service beneficial? A. By joining a community organization, the juvenile becomes reintegrated into their community. B. By attending group therapy, the juvenile comes to understand why what they did was wrong. C. By volunteering, the juvenile pays back their debt to society. What constitutes police brutality? A. Any use of force or violence by a police officer. B. The use of force to detain an armed and dangerous suspect. C. Any time when violent police tactics are used that are unjustified in that situation. Police were often used in the 19th century to break apart what? A. Civil rights protests. B. Anarchist revolutions. C. Labor movements. D. Communist coups. Those who defend incidents of police brutality often do so by claiming that the violence is necessary in order to do what? A. Undermine the democracy. B. Maintain order and control. C. Assume innocence before guilt. D. Encourage democracy-inspired revolutions. Under what circumstances are juveniles entitled to a trial by jury? A. All circumstances. B. If state law allows. C. No circumstances. D. Only if in front of the Supreme Court of the United States. During the English common law, how were children ages 7 to 14 treated by courts? A. As adults. B. As juveniles. C. As infants. D. As property. In the 19th century, how was it determined whether or not someone was treated as an adult in the justice system? A. If they understood the wrongfulness of their actions, then they were treated as an adult. B. If they were older than 14, then they were treated as an adult. An arrest occurs when the suspect being detained reasonably believes that he or she A. Is going to be charged with a crime. B. Has committed a crime. C. Not free to leave. D. Been confronted by an officer. Excessive force is defined as A. Force that could leave the suspect seriously injured. B. More force than is necessary to make the arrest. C. Force above and beyond the amount of force used by the suspect. X is an official document that is obtained from a judge that authorizes the arrest of a suspect. X is normally an added assurance for the enforcement officer. Identify document X. A. A search warrant. B. An affidavit. C. An arrest warrant. What are the two types of reports commonly used in differential response? A. Assessment and investigation. B. Assessment and interrogation. C. Investigation and information gathering. D. Assessment and court involvement. What is the purpose of the investigation? A. Making a decision. B. Information gathering. C. Determining a sentence. D. Placing children in a different home. In order to adhere to place restrictions, where might an adult magazine be legally displayed? A. On the highest shelf with a covering. B. There is nothing that restricts the display of this material. C. On the counter, near candy. D. Anywhere a reader can reach. How do prison riots typically begin? A. With the institution of new rules in the prison. B. With an act of abuse by one of the guards. C. With unsatisfactory conditions in the prison. D. With an act of defiance and disorder. The 1966 Federal Bail Reform Act was created to provide those with less the opportunity to be free before they face trial. A. Financial resources. B. War activity. C. Risk. Which of the following is a drawback of prison privatization? A. Higher cost. B. Lack of transparency. C. Lack of rehabilitation. D. Worse performance. Must a conditionally released inmate disclose his or her status as an inmate? A. Yes, only if working with money. B. Yes, only if working with children. C. Yes, it is required. D. No, it is not required.
Okay, fathers, there you go. I took that exact test to become a probation officer. Well, not the exact, but similar, 50 questions. And as you can see, it's a very extensive process. State of Colorado, 50 questions. You have to have a 90% passing. So you can only miss 2 questions. So you're definitely getting the best of the best. It is difficult to become a juvenile probation officer, a probation officer. So the test is for just probation. And then the departments decide whether or not you're going to become a juvenile probation officer or an adult. I interviewed 5 different counties in the state of Colorado and was offered 5 different positions. So, like I said, I feel blessed. I was ready, knew my stuff, had the degree, and was ready to rock. So it was a great profession. Learned a lot, and was able to apply it to my very own daughters. Okay, fathers, another live stream next week. Live stream it's a Q&A. So any of you fathers that are out there that may have any questions, feel free to join in next week. Ask your questions. I do understand a lot of you fathers may not want to come online, give your identity. I understand all that. Trust me. I'm a girl dad. I get it. But next week will be a Q&A. That'll be next week's live stream. So I encourage you, subscribe, like, share. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Subscribe, like, share. Okay, fathers, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience, your understanding. I appreciate all fathers, regardless of your ethnic group, background, and/or culture. Much love to you all. Have a great week with your children. Kiss some baby girls, kiss some baby boys. God bless you, fathers. And until next week's live stream, E. Martin, I'm out. Peace.